Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having a Virgo Sun and a Gemini Ascendant in a natal chart. Now, these signs, by sign, they are square, they are incompatible. They do have something in common, though. They are both mutable, which is adaptable. They're both pliable, easygoing. But the thing is that they are strongly different as well, because Sun Virgo is very pragmatic and practical. Earth signs tend to be very premeditative and they like to plan ahead. Gemini rising can be whimsical, is more spontaneous. They're not quite as they're not about being quite as punctual or dependable as a Virgo Sun. Gemini rising does not like to be pinned down, so you could see how these signs are strongly opposed in a way, and why they are square by sign, because there is a conflict. And the thing about this is the Gemini rising, the more whimsical side, is Gemini rising characteristics will suppress the Sun and Virgo traits to some degree, and this person, especially on first impression, will come off as somebody that really is very restless mentally, will talk about a lot of subjects, is come across as being very versatile, very well-rounded in different areas, a person that can be somewhat fickle and changeable, and one that's very loquacious and talkative. Well, in this Gemini rising, will hide the Virgo Sun tendencies to some degree, at least on that first impression, and what it does is it camouflages the Virgo Sun. Now, the thing about this is that, okay, when you have your sun sign represents your basic wants, and the rising sign or ascendant represents the manner or method in which one may attain these basic wants. Now, basic wants for Sun and Virgo can be connected with analyzing, being industrious, things that are work-related, might be work-related and health-related goals, even perfection, being helpful, being of service to other an organization. And by having the Gemini rising, some of these work-related or health-related things might be done through communication with others, might be done in a variety of ways. This might be someone that may not, for example, may not be able to stick with some kind of regimented type schedule, might strongly be about work, but might like to do a variety of things. And being Gemini rising can be very multifaceted, and this person may be of service to others through communication in some way, shape, or form. Or this person may meet these basic Virgo Sun and Virgo wants perhaps through a Gemini-like profession. It could be something what would seem good as far as this combination would be something like data analysts, or something where you're dealing with something analytical and communications, maybe something where they have to analyze and be able, like something like taking things that are of a communication, something where they can analyze something, right, and just communicate very strongly about it, dissecting things mentally and breaking things apart and talking about it. Extrapolation of data. Someone could be like a statistician, but do so in a way where they could actually have that ability to communicate what it is that they're doing in this type of profession. Gemini rising type profession could also be something with the hands, like carpentry or auto mechanics, or something. Even something like an editor or a proofreader. This could be something connected with communication, but they can bring that need that Virgo Sun can kind of get in as far as the details go, and the corrective side can come through in this manner. Well, also what's important to look at is look at the aspect that the Virgo Sun makes to the Gemini Ascendant. Now, in many instances, you will have the square aspect. And when you have this kind of exacerbates already the conflict between the Virgo sun and the Gemini ascendant. Now, let's say somebody has a Virgo sun at 12 degrees and a Gemini ascendant at 15 degrees. This would form a square aspect, which is adversarial, which could indicate that this person, even if they're not cognizant of their astrological placements, that they may feel that what they're projecting as far as their outer demeanor, which is the ascendant, is strongly different than what is going on inside, which is represented by the sun sign. And this person might have feelings of being misconstrued or misunderstood by others because of this, causing some inner exasperation and tension. However, you could have an out of sign sextile aspect take place. Let's say the Virgo sun is at 1 degree and the Gemini ascendant is at 29 degrees. That would form an out of sign sextile aspect, which could be auspicious, which would have a little better integration of these two energies, and you'd still have the incompatibility by sign, but it would work a little bit better because the aspect is positive. And the same would be true if you had an out of sign trine aspect take place. Now, let's say you have the Virgo sun at 29 degrees and a Gemini ascendant at 1 degree. This would form an out of sign trine aspect. And that would be auspicious and positive as well. And as stated with the sextile aspect, even if you have, even though the signs are incompatible by sign, you would still have a little better positive blending and integration of these two energies and can be auspicious. Now, it's also important to look at the house placement of the sun in Virgo, because even though the Gemini rising may suppress the sun in Virgo energy to some degree, the sun in Virgo energy may still come out prominently to some degree in the house that it's in. Now, let's say the sun in Virgo is posited in the 3rd house. Well, that could indicate that analytical side, that studious Virgo, might come out strongly in 3rd house matters, and you might see a person, when they communicate, it could be in a very analytical type manner, and be very careful, like in terms of like what they're saying, and really as far as the details go. And also, being in the 3rd house, it could give like kind of a double Gemini influence, because the person would have Gemini rising and the sun in the 3rd house, and the 3rd house corresponds with the sign Gemini. Now, let's say that the sun in Virgo is posited in the 4th house. Well, you might see this ability on the negative side. Maybe this person might be a little bit critical or judgmental in matters connected with their home and family, and be very scrutinizing with details regarding the home, and noticing a lot of things that are not working right, or something doesn't look right in the home, for example. Now, let's say the sun in Virgo is posited in the 5th house. Well, this could be somebody where I could see the 5th house, you can look at that kind of maybe with sports to some, if you have the sun in Virgo is about analysis, it could be somebody that could be like a good, maybe in some isolated cases, like a sports analyst, or somebody that brings out the hard-working, laborious Virgo in matters connected with fun, with amusement, in their creative endeavors, be very detail-oriented in creativity, but at the same time, at the same token, might show maybe a judgmental or critical quality in matters connected with love and romance. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having the sun in Virgo and a Gemini ascendant in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about having the sun in Virgo and a Cancer ascendant in a natal chart. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.